What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football, bringing you guys another draft profile. Today it is Davante Adams, a wide receiver out of Fresno State. And remember, keep in mind, a lot of draft stock will be shifting and changing from now until the NFL draft. And shout out to Draft Breakdown for the highlights in this video. But let's get right into this one. Davante Adams, a wide receiver out of Fresno State, standing at 6'1", 212 pounds. Some collegiate stats. Now, these statistics are over his 2-year span at Fresno State. 233 receptions for 3,031 yards, 38 touchdowns, and a 13.0 yards per reception average. A couple of things you might want to know about Davante Adams. First of all, he was the Paul Warfield Trophy Award winner in 2013, second team AP All-American in 2013, first team All MWC in 2012 and 2013, and MWC Freshman of the Year in 2012. Also led the entire NCAA in touchdown receptions in 2013 with 24, and total receptions in 2013 with 131. So Davante Adams this last season definitely put in a lot of work at Fresno State, and he shined. So let's get to his pros and cons. First of all, I think his size and frame. Even though he is 6'1", I still think he plays bigger for his size. When he was opposing a lot of smaller defensive backs, I definitely noted that down because, he definitely shined and he outplayed them, and he was able to, reel in a lot of passes with ease. So when it comes to, matching up against smaller cornerbacks and safeties, he's going to be able to beat them. Now, at the NFL level, that's going to be a little harder to assess because those guys are more skilled. But when it came to just size matchups, Davante Adams, without a doubt, had the advantage. Now, separation was another thing I noted. He was able to separate from the secondary, the opposing secondary a lot. He was able to, get into the open, and Derek Carr was able to get him the ball a lot of the times. That's why he was able to get 131 receptions this last season with 24 touchdowns. Ball skills, didn't notice too many drops. I felt as if, he was very confident when it came to going up and grabbing passes. But the other thing when I get to his cons is his route tree. So, even though he was able to get a lot of shorter passes thrown to him, there were times where he, did showcase that he could run down the field and split defenders and catch the deep ball. I felt as if his ball skills overall were solid. Now, production, again, 2 seasons, you saw his statistics. He was able to put up big numbers at Fresno State. Potentially you can argue that with his he didn't play top-notch teams necessarily, even though he did play, some teams from the Pac-12, like a USC in the Las Vegas Bowl this last year. So, more times than not, the competition wasn't top-notch. I have some teams here written down like in Nevada, San Jose, New Mexico. Not necessarily those, top elite teams. But overall, his production was solid. Now, cons, I don't think he has elite speed. I don't think he has that over-the-top, burner type speed. But I still see a spot for him. If you don't want to necessarily play him on the outside where, he played at Fresno State, potentially it's an idea here is where you could play him as a big receiver in the slot. It could make sense. He's definitely a guy who can work the middle of the field, definitely a guy who has shown that he could split defenses down the middle. But his speed, I don't know if it allows him to play as like that number 1 or number 2 on the outside type of guy and just burn opposing secondaries. Blocking, I thought blocking was another con. He just didn't. I felt as if there were times where he didn't put too much effort into it. And I felt as if sometimes he would wait for the defender to come to him rather than him go to the defender, which would ideally, as a receiver, you want to go out and get your hands on a guy and push him out of the way for your teammate. But I felt as if the defender would come to Davante, and Davante wouldn't, necessarily, be ready all the time for those blocks, and he would get beat. So blocking needs work. Route tree, again, I don't know if he, this was jotted down at ESPN as well as being able to run all the NFL routes. I felt as if Davante, ran a lot of shorter routes, a lot of receiver screens, a lot of, comebacks, and a lot of, just shallower routes that didn't potentially, showcase if he can be a deep play guy or not. Now, again, I've shown some highlights in this video where he has split defenders and he has done some stuff in the deep ball, but it wasn't, I don't know if it was, as common as it was for him to run shorter routes. So route tree there could be a potential con regarding NFL route running. Draft projection, round 2, round 3. Don't see him as a first-round guy. will be interesting to see where he goes, and I just have a lot of teams listed there for teams who just need receivers in general. The Rams, the Browns, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Jets, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Panthers, the Niners, and Seattle. So, those teams could potentially be taking a look at Davante in the 2nd or 3rd round. I think that's the range that he will go. If he falls out of the 3rd round, I would be pretty surprised, considering his production and what he's brought to Fresno State. If he goes in the 1st round, I would be a little bit surprised as well, just because I think that would be slightly early. So I think 2nd or 3rd round range, day 2 type of guy, with those teams of interest. Let me know what you guys think. Throw your comments, questions, concerns down all below in the comment box. But that's all I got for you guys today. I'm out.